Hello my fellow motion designers, welcome back to another exciting tutorial. So as you probably remember, we did some beautiful lighting in the last tutorial for my latest piece. And today I'm gonna show you how to make the water effect I used in that project. So today we're gonna jump into Houdini, and I promise it's not gonna be hard. It's actually gonna be really easy to do. So without further ado, let's just jump into Houdini and I'll show you how to make some nice looking water. So here in Houdini, we are first of all going to start by making a Geo Node. And let's dive into that. So let's make a sphere. All right. And we're going to fill this sphere up with a lot of points. So I'll just make a points from volume like this and plug this in. All right. So now we have a lot of points in here, but we need to go up to our point separation and turn that down to 0.02 or 3. Yeah, 3. That should be good. And then, as you can see, they're too uniform right now. So what I want to do is turn up my jitter scale to 10. And you can see now they're all random and packed inside of the sphere. All right, let me just set the separation to 2 again. That's better. So now we need to make a null. And we'll plug everything into the null. And we'll call this null source out. Just like this. All right, so we're not done yet with making our source object. So first of all, we need a point velocity. Like this. If I just turn on my point trails so you can see what's happening, then we can go into curl noise. And now you can see we have a lot of these lines. And these lines are velocity strength. So I'll just set this one to a scale of 1 again. And maybe let's just set it a bit up so we can see the scale here. And then I'll just take the swirl size to something like, yeah, like 0.5 or 0.6. That should be good. Then just set the scale down again. And then we can also do some directional velocity here. So as you can see, we can have all the velocity going inwards, and we can also have all the velocity going upwards. I'll just set this to 1, I think. So we're just pushing up all of our points into this space up here. But we still have some curl noise in it. So what we want to do now is that we want to take all of our points here and we want to mask out some of the points, because not all of our points are going to get this treatment here. So we need some of our points to be static. So how do you do that? Well, we duplicate our points to volume, and then we just bring up the point count kind of like this. Yeah, so there's not that many points inside of it. And then we can make a copy to points. And then we can take this sphere and we can duplicate that, put it into here. And we can see what that looks like. All right. So let me just go and turn down the scale of our sphere here. And we can just reference our original sphere so we can see what's going on. And now I actually just want to find a seed that looks kind of okay. Maybe something like this. We still have something on the outside, but also some of them on the inside. So I think we'll just go with this for now. That should be fine. And now we need to make a group. So let's make a group, and let me just put it in here. And this group will just call the vel mask for velocity mask like this. And then I'll take this copy to point and put into the bounding object. And when we come into our group here, we're gonna change it from primitives to points. And then we'll turn off the base group and we'll turn on bounding region. So we want the bounding region to be this copy to point. And if we go to the bounding type, we can just scroll down and we see a bounding object. And if we choose that, come over here, you can see we have selected all of the points that are inside of our spheres. So if we go in here and we put a new sheet, you can see our selection is also moving. And that's pretty cool. All right, so let's go into our point velocity here. And right now it's still affecting everything. So we need to go up here to group and we need to search for the vel mask group. And now it's only affecting the places where we masked it out. So that's exactly what we want. All right, so now we have the base setup here. And now we want to do the simulation part. So let's make a dot network. And let's call this sim. And let's jump inside of it. So first of all, we need a flip object. And let me just move this for a bit. So we need a flip object. And we also need a flip solver. And this flip solver can go into our output. And the flip object can go into our fluid. All right. So one more thing we need is a volume source. And that one can just go into our particle velocity here. And inside of our flip object, we're going to go to our initial data and we'll see this subpath. And the subpath, we're just going to find that. And that was in our geo and we called it source out. So let's just take that. All right, cool. So let's also go in here and do the same in our volume source. Let's select the source out. Okay, so nothing is showing up here yet, but let's go into our flip object and we actually need to set the type here to particle field. And look at this, we have our object inside of our sim. All right, so first of all, we need to go to guides here and let's go to this particle tab and let's change the visualization to particles. And that's much easier to see what's actually going on here. All right, so let's press play and let's see what happens. Okay, so we have some movement, but first of all, we see that from frame 1 to frame 2, we lose all of our particles. And that is not a thing we want. So what we're gonna do is actually align this particle separation number here. So let me just go back to our geometry and let's go to the points from volume. So you see we also have a point separation number up here. And if you right click and say copy parameter, you can go into your .NET and you can paste it over here and say paste relative reference. So now this number will always reference this number out here. So you can see if we change it to 0.1 and we go inside here, it's also going to be 0.1. Let's set it to 0.02 again. Let's go in here, 0.02. So let's press play again. And you can see we have so much more of a violent look and we're not losing any particles. So let me just turn off the point trails here so you can see a bit better what's going on. And let me just preview it here. Wow. So we have a lot of initial velocity going on. And it really looks like these particles are separating too much. So there's an easy way to fix that. So we need to go into our flip solver here. And we need to go to volume motion. Then we need to go to surface tension and put on some surface tension. And if I just play it now, you can see all of the particles are now grouping together here and forming these almost droplets kind of shape. And this is really what we're looking for in this technique. So right now, I'm just gonna take the surface tension down to 5. And let's just play it from the start. You can see we also get some nice drawing motion, but they are a bit more spread out and a bit more wild. And especially this one is looking very nice. So if we come over here to viscosity, we can turn that on, and then we need to go up to our flip object up here. And in the physical tab here, we can control how much viscosity we need. So for now, just gonna set it to 5. And let's just see what that does. So yeah, you can see it became a really thick liquid. So it's not really water anymore. So let's turn it down. And as you can see, it's a bit more violent, a bit more water-like. These two things, the viscosity and the surface tension, are what we're gonna use to control this technique. And it's only those two things. So it's pretty simple, but you can have so many different looks with this technique. So I think I'm just gonna hold my surface tension to 5 and also my viscosity to 1. So right now, I actually just want to come out here again, and I want to do a file cache. And this file cache is just to make things a little bit easier when we are meshing it, so we don't actually need to worry about all of the particles. For now, I think we should just cache the sim and see what we can do from there. We can always go back and change it. So I'll just press cache. So you can see now the simulation is cached and our liquid is just floating out into space. And I actually think we may need to do a lot more masking here. So let's go back to our group and let's go to this point from volume and let's put the separation down to like 0.25. That should be nice. We can also pull up the point velocity. So we can pull up the kernel noise strength to 1.5. And we can take down the scale of the directional noise. So 0.5. And let's just cache that and see what we did. All right, so let's press play and let's see. Wow. So it just really exploded out into every single direction. And let's just try actually and work with this. So let me see what happens here at the start. So we actually have some nice looking detail here. If we use some more particles. So yeah, maybe we could use this for something. So I think I'm just gonna go back and set the surface tension a bit higher. So let's go in here into our dot network and let's go to our flip solver and let's set the surface tension to 10 again. So double the strength. And let me just see how that looks. All right, so let's see the simulation. All right, so we have a big explosion of liquid. And I actually think we can use this for something. So let's go and create a retime node. And let's make this into some slow motion stuff. So let's go to the start frame here. Let's actually go and delete the channels. And let's go and set the speed to 0.2. And let's see what happens. All right, so we have this really ugly blinking mess. And there's actually a reason for this. So if we go into our sim here, we can go to our particle motion tab and we can go to the reseeding. So right now we have reseeding on. And if you want to do any slow motion with particles, then you need to turn this off. And now if we go out again, I just need to cache this file again. So I'll just quickly do that. All right, so now it's cached and let's go back to our retime node. And as you can see, our particles are moving in slow motion. All right, so let me just set the start frame to maybe 10, frame 10. And let's set the speed to 0.1. And as you can see, we now can find some really nice parts of this simulation where we have some particles that are spreading and coming together, and we have some particles here that are maybe colliding. Okay, so let's make this into some geometry. And the way we do that is we make a VDB from, so let's put our retime into our VDB here. And if we view that, we can see nothing is happening over in this section. But that's because our voxel size is too high. So if we set it to 0.01, you can see we get all of our lovely particles into our volume. And now I'm just gonna make a VDB smooth. And let's put it in there. And you can see we are smoothing everything out. And I'll also make a VDB reshape. And let's put it before. So this reshape, we can increase the dilation and we can also erode some stuff, but we'll just dilate this. So let's just dilate it by 1 and yeah, maybe by 0.5. I think that's better. And then just go into our VDB smooth here and let's go and set the iterations of our smooth to like 5, I think. That should be good. Maybe, yeah, let's pull it up to something like 6. That should be fine. And then I'll go and make a convert VDB. And let's convert it to polygons. And now you can see we have turned all of our lovely points into some polygons. And it still looks a bit rough. So what I want to do is go and create a smooth. And just a simple smooth. So let's pull the filter quality down. And now we can see we can actually control some of this stuff. So let's put it to maybe 15. I think that should be good. And what I'm looking for here is some nice smooth areas, but and not a lot of these spiky ones. Yeah, maybe let's go and take our smooth down to 10 again. And it's just personal preference, this one. So maybe let's go into our reshape node here and let's dilate by 1 instead. And yeah, we got a lot more volume to everything. Let's dilate by 2. Yeah, that's too much. 1.2. Yeah, let's just take it to 1. So let me just actually go into this retime node here. Let's set it to 25 in the start frame. Just to see if something happens. If we have another frame that's really nice to look at. We'll like start it at 20. Yeah. That could be fun. So right now I'm just looking for that really awesome framing. And maybe this could be something where it's just splashing out here. All right, cool. So we have our abstract water here. So what I would do now is actually go back to my simulation here. So I would just play around with some of the parameters until you have the right look that you're going for. So if we come out here to our smooth again, I'm just going to show you how you can actually go and export this. So it's pretty simple. You just make a rub, an Olympic rub, and this is a Olympic output. So we're just gonna output an Olympic file. So here in the frame range, we're just gonna set it to render frame range. And yeah, we just need to find a place to render it. So just like this. And yeah, now you just have to press save to disk. So now you're exporting an Olympic file with all of your lovely geometry. Alright, so as you can see, it's not that hard getting into Houdini and learning how to do this really nice water look. So if you want more Houdini tutorials like this one, then please go and hit the like button below. And you can also go and subscribe because that really helps me out making these videos. So if you have any questions or just want to chat with some other like-minded, really talented people, then go and join my Discord server in the description below. We do weekly challenges, so if you're up for that, then please go and follow along, because these challenges are for everybody and everybody can participate. So the last thing I just want to say is go out, make some nice looking renders, and I'll see you next time for some more Houdini magic. Goodbye.